In this episode of the Salty Towel Podcast, I get to know Hamish Patterson, aka The Illusion. Hamish has been on YouTube for many years now and had several viral videos, which you may be familiar with. The famous bowl cut maintenance video, the Boggles review video, and also my personal favorite, the Surfing is Dead to Me video. If you like these kinds of videos, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, use the links in the description to get an awesome soft top right off of Amazon. And don't forget to leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the cool stuff we talked about in this episode. Like most new adventures in life, podcasting and finding my voice in this format is both exciting and a little bit scary. And like anything worth doing in life, in order to do something well, you must first be willing to be the fool in order to be the hero. I chose to be the fool and maybe foolishly podcast, and Hamish chose to join me on the journey, and for that I am grateful. I thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation with Hamish, where we talked about surf spots, localism, surfing philosophy, teaching kids to surf, and much more. Okay, let's get right into this episode of the Salty Towel Podcast. How's it going, man?
Good, good. So I'm a little late there.
No sweat. I am so Thank you, dude. For
my pleasure.
This is exciting for me, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, right on. Me too. I love doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. So, I found out about you years ago through my son. He's off in college now.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to watch this guy. He and his friends were watching you, and it was the bowl cut video, of course. But then we found that video that you did, "Surfing is Dead to Me."
Oh yeah.
That really rang a chord with me personally.
But you get it then.
Yes. Yeah. And so did the whole little Grom squad of my son. They all.
Yeah. Where are you at? North Carolina?
Oh, no. Sorry, man. Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, down south of Kennedy Space Center, about a half hour, near Sebastian Inlet.
All right.
That is, yeah.
The hotbed of it all.
Yeah. Okay, it's sort of a surfy place. It's like little barrier islands.
Yeah. Totally.
So it's good vibe. Small town. I live in a real small coastal town. River on one side, ocean on the other, like 10 blocks in between.
Nice.
Classic East Coast setup. Yeah, and you're out in north of LA.
Yeah, just on the edge of the great metropolis.
Yeah.
It's a weird scene for sure. As we like to joke out here, this is home of the failed surfer's dream. Absolutely.
It's such a magical place, man, California.
It was. They've done their very best to suck the magic right out of it lately.
Yeah, except for all the systems that people put in place, but like the state itself, like the mountains, the desert, the ocean.
Yeah. It's the treasures are still to be found.
Yeah, it's like the perfect scenario, except for the cold water.
It's not even really that cold. Wetsuit technology's come a long way.
How cold is it?
I don't even right now. You could probably get away with wearing like a short sleeve.
Okay.
3-2, something like that.
Yeah, we've taken some surf trips out to California, and one time I actually got in the water at Huntington Beach and said to my son, I don't know if I can do it. And it was so brutally cold. It was like down to 50s, and we're surfing in 80-degree.
Sure. Yeah, you guys are trunking and all.
So I got zero brown fat, zero ability to. Yeah, the older I get, the colder I get. But yeah, I guess you got to get.
Yeah, I'm a cold water guy, man. Keep it cold.
Yeah, weren't you up in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I lived up there for a while. I lived up in Oregon too.
Wow.
And yeah, I'll take cold water any day.
Wow. Yeah, and point surf. I guess you've had a lot of.
I don't care as long as it's just something, anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's it's a feast or famine around here. You kind of get both swells. So South Bay really only picks up the west swells and the northwest swells. So it's more of a wintertime zone. But I'm far enough north where I get the southern hemi swells too. So
yeah, and when I was getting ready for this, I was looking at the kind of the map of that area again, and Zuma Beach actually faces more like west, straight west.
Yeah. Well, the coastline does a big hook there, so a lot of people don't know, like our coastline faces like due south.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, west, Zuma has like a hook, so it's sort of west, and then picks up some south too.
Nice. And that, well, I mean, I've always wanted to try to surf Malibu someday. You ever go? I mean, down to the actual Malibu point.
No, not anymore, man. I don't. It's too much of a dark energy for me.
Yeah.
I way rather deal with something like Rincon or like a crowded wave that's real with like real surfers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like at least they kind of get the concept.
Right.
Versus Malibu is just a free for all. It's the joke is it's too perfect.
Right. It's almost on level with Trestles, don't you think? I mean, kind of close.
It's way better than Trestles, but
really?
It's like, yeah, sure. I mean, you can get it, but it's that thing where it's like it's so cookie cutter. It just doesn't allow for any, like, it just everybody can get out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's user friendly, except when like a big swell comes up, that's when you kind of got a shot at it, just because most people don't ride the right equipment,
Yeah.
That's what you hope for around here, is a big swell and everybody riding their little sticks.
Still in the potato chips.
Yeah.
Much. I have a 10-0 Russell Strickland board, which is a local guy. I ended up dying actually, but good guy. And he made these like authentic longboards, and I ended up picking up a 10-0 double stringer, like the cloth inlay on the nose, the whole thing. And when he sold it to me, he's like, dude, you're not making any friends with this board, dude.
No, full wave vacuum, man.
Just no.
That's like when I go to Malibu, I'll just ride the 10-foot Munoz and just take them all. Wow. Just take it all.
Well, there's only so many sets.
I guess, man. There's. I don't know. I guess I can't get into that whole. That's the old mindset, man.
Right.
Yeah, the limited resource.
Scarcity.
I get to be a bad vibe and a kook and the whole thing. Like, I mean, you've seen the video, then you get it. Like, surfing culture is pretty dark from my perspective.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've always told people I know who don't surf that, they got this perspective like it's some kind of peace and love thing, but that it gets very dark.
No, it's the angriest group of self-centered faux human beings ever, man. Yeah, and unfortunately, they passed that around to the world. The worst of surfing got out of the bag, dude.
It's out of the bag.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You look at it, right? Like when the big worldwide thing happened was the 80s.
Right.
That's when they really spread into all the stuff, and that was the worst culture of surfing possible. Yeah,
I would say so.
That coming out of the 70s into that first round of the 80s, when everyone was splitting, like they were like they split with their bad vibes. So it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So I was looking at what other people do in podcasts. And by the way, I want to tell you before I go any further, man, you inspired me directly to do live streaming at all. I hadn't done any of it, and I was watching you, and I thought, maybe I could do that. Yeah, it's
good for you.
So thank you.
Good for you.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
If I can inspire someone to do that, that's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah, it's so strange when you meet someone that's kind of like an archetype in your mind in a way. You've been watching all these videos. You have quite a collection of videos, man, and you can really go deep into watching those. Now you've got all the way from the early stuff through. I mean, it's like following somebody through their life, it feels like.
I put it all up there.
Yeah, like you just, whatever was happening, you just kind of put up there.
Yeah, I sort of almost, you know, the medium's changed so much since in the 11 years since I started. Like I'm doing a podcast right now. So
oh, hey, Al.
yeah. So, you know, the medium's changed so much. I sort of almost long for that, like the way it was, you know, you just kind of made videos and you just it sort of had a life. It did its own thing within the YouTube world.
Right.
Now I find myself, it's like, I just do the live streams pretty much. And
yeah,
I don't really put up like standalone content anymore, which I think hurts on a level, but people don't watch it either anymore. Like the whole thing is shifted to that sort of,
yeah, I actually
what we're doing.
Yeah, just
right. Excuse me, I was eating some macadamia nuts a minute. I got a little piece in there, so no I don't have a cough button on the Heimlich here.
You're ready. So one of the things I'm gonna do is ask you some questions. It's like a either or. We'll just go through them. Endless Summer or Point Break?
Point Break. All day long.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, yeah, I mean the Endless Bummer.
Bodie.
I'm a guy. I chase the winter around. I run through the summers.
Still surf every day.
Every day, yeah. Try.
And we're surfing today. Biggest wave ever. The last wave.
Yeah.
All right, sushi or sashimi?
I'm a sushi guy.
Go there.
Yeah. Roll it up.
Yeah, live it up. If you're going in, go all the way. All right, Thor or Iron Man?
Ooh, good question. Is it Thor with the hair, without the hair?
With the hair.
Thor with the hair all day, man. Thor without the haircut, not so much.
I am so with you. Yeah, exactly. Don't overthink it. That's what I say. Yeah, like it seems like Thor will just go.
Yeah. No, it's well, you can see that I do like the sort of midlife crisis he gets into.
That's right. Yeah.
It's sort of good, but I like the second Thor the best.
That's right.
Iron Man, it's a little predictable.
Yeah, that's right. And Thor actually gets fat and lazy. Then you overcome.
Yeah, Thor kind of goes through an interesting arc.
Yeah, he's vulnerable, even though he's got the hammer.
Yes.
Twin fin or single fin?
Twin fin.
Twin fin.
Yeah.
You still surf a twin fin at all?
Yeah, I have one in my car. My buddy. You know, I'm a big fan of the Mark Richards.
Okay.
Twin fins.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of those on a fluke from a friend of mine, and I really discovered that what a magical piece of equipment that was. Except the fins would always blow out. You know, it's like I don't know what the way they glassed them in, and then my buddy started making them, and he's got the formula. They work really well.
Making the special twin fins?
Yeah. There's just a little bit. They just need a little bit of V in the tail.
Special numbers.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been surfing a soft top a lot lately, just because it kind of connects me with a childlike part of surfing that I over the years started
to
lose. You know, it wasn't looking forward to surfing as much.
Well, the soft top kind of saved it for me because the waves are so fickle around here, and so it would just get me out there when it sucked. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, because it's a soft top.
Right.
It's what it's for.
Step off on the sand.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. What do you think people misunderstand about you? I always feel misunderstood personally. Feel like it's just when I meet somebody, it's just going to be a matter of time until they understand me, but they probably miss.
I think for like in the weird way is people don't understand that I'm fully like self-aware of my own parody, if you will.
Right.
Like I know that I'm a stereotype in that sense. Like I'm fully like aware of it. So I don't trip on it. Like I almost use it as it's sort of a gatekeeper, right? Like if you can get, I always joke, it's like the gateway drug. Like you come here on the bowl cut and that's all you wanted, you'll end up leaving. But if you can dig deeper, like you'll realize it all is an illusion.
That's the thing, man. Yeah, I kept trying to conjecture if I want to make everything complex in my mind, but if this was just like some long-term, beautiful, almost like life poem that you've planned all out.
Well, it sort of becomes like that in its own weird, as my wife likes to say about herself, she's authentically unauthentic when she's out working. You know what I mean? Like she does that. And it's sort of like that. I'm unauthentically authentic.
Right.
In that, and kind of to flip it a little bit. I'm straight up. It's pretty much me, but it is an awareness of it is like there's a shtick to it, but it's not.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not thought out, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, right? The masks, the Greek masks of the drama. I mean, just we're all wearing some layer. So
yeah, it's a little bit of Spicoli's version of Eckhart Tolle.
Connect with the isness.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I think that on that thing is people tend to think that I'm actually like don't have a sense of, that I'm not aware of it, like the surfer dude thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, certainly.
It's part of the milieu of my area, but like your average person's pretty much just some like accountant, lawyer, sales rep.
It really is. You know the movie Valley Girl?
Yeah,
that was a seminal movie for me, man, as a kid. Like, that was a archetypal movie of LA, of that whole idea. I grew up reading skateboard magazines and stuff. I get the 7-Eleven and Dogtown and all that kind of stuff. And, like the idea of LA itself was almost like I don't know, Charlie's Angels, Chips, MASH.
Well, I mean, that's the weird thing is like, LA is such a parody of itself, and it doesn't have any sort of self-reflection or self-realization. I remember my big epiphany was like when I went to London, like early YouTube. I went to London and I saw the street art scene going on, like real street, not graffiti, like real like street art everywhere, all over the city. And I came back and I was like, I looked at LA and I was like, wow, this is the least creative place possibly on the planet. Like it was just, I really saw that there was no creativity going on here. It's all just smoke and mirrors, but there's nothing really going on here of creative genius. It's really where creative people come to die, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I believe it.
I've always, that's one of my things. I was working on trying to get a show. It was called The Grass is Greener.
Okay.
And it was all about, I would go to these people's places and find out what their charm of their community is, because most people forget that they have everything, that their actual thing is their thing, where they're from. The minute they get off the bus here in LA, they just become another number in the cattle call, right? Mm-hmm. Like the only way to truly become an actor is almost to act out of small town Ohio and be like, I'm the one from Ohio. I'm not another LA guy who came from and try to compete. Like build your own thing with your own stuff that makes you unique and kind of blast out from it. Right. Like even when I published a book and I was like super aware of like to come out of LA was to self-sabotage. Like I did it in Portland because it was unique. But so it was like that thing is like, once you come here, like you're we always joke. I mean, it's kind of monogamous, but like, a girl who's like a small town 10 comes out to LA and she's a 6. Yeah. Like, and then it's just, you're working at Hooters because you saved up all your money to come out here. And like, it's not a creative town. It's a vulture's paradise.
It's where the creativity comes to be commercialized.
Yeah, or sold or crushed or taken away. I think the same could be said about the publishing in New York or fashion in New York or, music in Nashville. I think you come and there's the big corporations are set up to like copyright you to death. Like just put you behind a copyright. Too creative, we're just going to buy your album, dude, cheap and put it in the vault and like, bye-bye.
Yeah. They've been doing it for a while.
They've got it pretty dialed from my perspective.
So I had a good experience over the weekend with my son Jack, who's about Al's age, a little older. So I got 4 kids, and I wanted them all to surf, like desperately wanted them all to surf. And my son, completely took to it right away. My oldest daughter, she got scared during one surf experience, and never did again. And then anyway, so my youngest son, Jack, I was like, this is how I'm going to get, I'm not just going to let them go in at their own pace. And over the weekend, he said, oh, can we do this again tomorrow? Which for me is like the signal. Gotcha.
Yeah.
The dream of having your son or your daughters out there with you in the ocean, enjoying something you love so deeply.
I had that same thing too. And I quickly realized it wasn't up to me to dictate it, because wait, we got to flip it. There we go. Because, and the weird thing, I know too many people around here who they hate surfing, man. Their dad forced them.
Yeah.
They saw the worst side of their dad out in the water, dude. It's the whole thing. So with Al, I was, right there. And then I remember the first time I tried to get him in like a little wetsuit, he was like, he got it on and then he was like, no. And I was super bummed about it. And then I was like, okay, like I just got to let it go. But I got him like swim lessons and he took off at swimming. So he's been getting fired up to go in the ocean. But I get it, because his first thing to me was when he could talk, I was like, why don't you want to go in the ocean? Because his little friend was. And he's like, it's big, it'll take me away. And I go, you know what?
He's right.
I will not argue that. And I will not dissuade you from understanding that fundamental truth. It won't anymore. But you can say it out loud. No! All right. I got you. I'll repeat the message. He says he says he can probably handle it now.
Okay.
Because he's a super confident swimmer. Like once I got he's super confident, like swimmer guy. Like problem.
Well, that's the first step.
And he, learning that he's more cautious. The first thing that he got fired up on was the pump track, ironically, with the bikes.
Okay.
Like as far as not what I do as possible. Not skate parks, not surfing, but like the pump track's the first thing. He's like, take me back for more.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, man, if that's your trip, that's your trip, dude. Like at least you have one. Flow. Yeah, at least you got one. I was just stoked he had something that he was into,
Yeah, absolutely. And you're still skateboarding a lot.
Yeah. We were. I was just jumping fences like 2 days ago, skating pools with a bunch of young bucks, man, getting a couple turns in.
That's epic. Yeah, dude. It speaks to the role of adventure. Seems like you still have adventure in your life.
Skateboarding, man, I don't know, dude. Like the surfing thing's just it's tough, man. North America is a tough place to be a surfer.
You got to come out here to Florida. There's hardly anybody out in the water.
I don't know. I don't know if I could take it. I mean, I probably could because it's all scaled down. It's but like, I mean, I'm a surf addict. Like I always joke that there's no recovery program. There's no 12-step program for surfing. All the same stuff that, the bedevilments. I'm a recovering alcoholic. So like all the stuff you talk about in AA, I can say the exact same thing that surfing's done for my abandoned chicks, jobs, sabotage stuff, bailed out on this. I've done everything that you could possibly do that an alcoholic would do, but with surfing. And like, that's where it's like it's a little rough around. I mean, that's the joke, dude. If you really were worried about it, you'd move to Indonesia. Call it good, dude.
Yeah,
You're
it is
living
one.
ahead.
It's definitely got the addictive quality.
But I've bumped into those guys too who've abandoned ship for all that, and they're not stoked either. So it's
right.
You know, it's. Did you read about the kid during the pandemic who got stuck at he got stuck at like Hollow Trees or something? He got stuck in one of the Mentawai Islands there at the resort. He couldn't leave, so he was surfing by himself for months and months. And dude, by the end, he was like, "I just want to go home, dude." Like enough perfect waves, like for a lifetime, kind of thing. And I was like,
right.
I get. No, I don't get it, but I.
Yeah, that's this whole idea of endless joy would be the worst punishment, almost.
Yeah, I think that's the gig, right? It's you think you want what you want until you get it, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
Like I couldn't imagine to have wasted my life in some surf camp bar resort thing in like Costa Rica or something, and been in some expat and just kind of missed it too. I don't know, life leads you where it's supposed to go, but I think about that.
I'm gonna share some drone video that I took.
All right.
Not that long ago, a couple weeks ago. This is kind of a typical Florida surfing scenario, high tide. All the groms out there, hundreds of sandbars like this all up and down the Florida coast, but this happens to be
it's pretty consistent like that.
Yeah, we go through periods where there'll be waves like that for a few weeks. That particular swell had waves for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, man. It's you get into a different rhythm.
Yeah.
It is like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's the weird trip like out here. Like I said, it's a bizarre surfing world to live in. It's like it starts pumping and you're fired up, and then it just goes away. Like if we've been having a pretty good run lately, but there's times where you'd be stoked even to have that. Right. Like it'll be like lake flat around here for like months.
Really?
Yeah, it's the I don't know if the weather. I know the weather patterns have changed, but it gets really flat. Like jokingly so. It's very bizarre. And then you kind of bank all your stuff on wintertime, like hoping for the. And then it was like this winter we had a good run for like the end of November, all of December. It was pumping, and then like 2 weeks into January, and then it literally like stopped. Like I remember I was surfing Rincon, and I was like, all right, man, I've got to stay out like as dark as it till the very last light. Yeah. And if you had told me that would have been the last wave of the winter, I wouldn't have really understood what you were saying, because it was January still. Like that, you're good for another 2 months of the season at least, and it just stopped. Cold turkey. Wow. It does that.
A heat streak too, didn't you?
The heat wave.
You're hearing reports of there's a heat wave. Like if you got to turn the air conditioner on, it's a heat wave in California.
Yeah, it's July, dude. I don't think it's really been that hot. I think it's been way more up in the Pacific Northwest. Seems pretty mellow, actually. It was like hot for like 2 days, but I haven't even put on the AC yet this year.
Oh.
Yet, like, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man. I got my theories, but it's definitely not what they're telling us. I'm 100% sure of that.
Yeah, who knows? I got no idea.
I don't either, man.
I don't have any answers. That's why I tell people I got nothing for you to believe, and that you don't come to on your own.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird trip right now is like, I think, like I noticed it over the last year and a half more so than ever before is like people are desperate for community because it's been so fractured for so long on the whole consumerism and you know, movie theaters and sports events and chasing whatever, just your nonsense of it all. Right. Like, well, you know, one more ski trip's going to save me. You know, I'm going to go, if I just, you know, if I do this or I do that, it's going to save me. And then everybody wound up, you know, in the middle of March, like, okay, what am I all about? And everyone's like, oh, whoa, dude, like, I'm just sitting here by myself all of a sudden.
Right.
You know, like
now I have to look inward.
Got to look inward. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure with children and stuff, you're like, well, I got my little unit, like we're doing our thing. People like suddenly realize that, you know, what is it all about?
Right.
What is my whole trip? And,
the only direction left is in. And the same thing that was in there is still there, which is whatever latent fears you're harboring, right? About, what we've all got our special favorite ones.
Yeah, that's what I talk to him a lot about. Like the thing is like, you know, take care of your shadows now, man. Yeah. Like you don't want any, like have to deal with any shadows.
Hey, here, listen to this thing. I heard this the other day. Tell me what you think about it. And that is that no one ever gets away with anything.
No one. Nothing.
I mean, like no one ever got away with anything ever.
I think that's where like all of a sudden these people have like it came to be is like, oh, whoa, like I got to sit with it now. And now what? Well, it's like drink, do drugs, kill yourself, or like get busy doing the work.
Yeah, know? I'll tell you, it had a big impact on me for sure. But I mean, I can say it was entirely positive, you know, just like to be totally stressed out about the situation, whatever, that it was actually the discomfort from experiencing that was positive in the end. You know, I had to look inward and really, you know, think about things I hadn't wanted to think about.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that's the hubris of our society for so long is just this kick the can down the road.
Yeah, we're going to a place in the future.
And it's them over there, dude. It's those guys over there. I did watch a dude get like yanked out of the water a couple last time I surfed. Like I watched him just fully just get worked, and I was like, yeah. And there there come the lifeguards. You know, that's what we joke with Zuma Beach here. You know, you arrive in a car, leave in a helicopter, man.
Yeah, it's a slammy wave from what I've read. I've never surfed there.
Yeah, it's a world-class closeout for sure.
Yeah.
Most definitely. But you know, it's that thing, no corners, no crowds. So
okay.
It keeps it, you know, as long as it's closed out, like when I don't have to deal with anyone.
Right.
Just me and the boys.
Yeah.
It's the corners that cause all the trouble. It's the tapering waves that bring on all the
That's right. Now we get issues. Right.
Yeah. Now we got a jockey for it. Nobody no takers when it's all like double overhead and closed out, you know, like they're all battling it out at the points.
Yeah, that's it. The joy of riding a big closeout. I can relate to that.
There's something cool about it.
There is something cool about it. Just escaping just right under the curtain, barely.
Yeah. Death or glory, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, well, I guess we'll cut it off here, but I'll tell you, if you're interested in doing it again, I'd love to do it again.
You let me know, man. I'm always available, John.